Imagine, for a second, the absolute biggest explosion you can think of. A supernova, maybe a galaxy colliding with another.
Something just, incomprehensibly vast.
Exactly. Now shrink that down, way down, smaller and smaller, until you get to the microscopic level.
Okay.
What if I told you that the most chaotic, explosive, and just consequential event in the universe isn't a star dying, but a life beginning?
That's a powerful idea.
We tend to think of our lives as these, linear paths, right? You're born, you grow up, you make choices, you go from A to B.
Sure, that's the standard narrative we tell ourselves.
But there's a theory, or a perspective really, that suggests every single moment of biological creation is its own Big Bang. A Big Bang of personal possibility, a moment where an entire multiverse just explodes into existence.
It's a fascinating way to frame existence, isn't it? We so often look outward for the multiverse. We're looking to quantum mechanics or string theory, hoping to find these other Earths where other versions of us made different choices.
Right, the classic sci-fi trope.
But looking inward at the actual biological mechanics of how we come to be, that process itself provides a staggering amount of chaos and divergence. It sort of poses the question, does the universe belong to you, or do you belong to the universe that your own existence created?
Exactly. And that really mind-bending concept is our launching pad for today. We're doing something a little different, something I think is really special.
I'm excited for this.
We are taking a deep dive into a manuscript. It's titled Naxzyu. Now, this is a piece of speculative fiction, a dystopian or, maybe utopian, depending on where you stand.
And that's a big question we'll have to tackle.
It is. It's a sci-fi story set in the mid-22nd century. And to really get the texture of this world, to really understand its tone, we're not just going to summarize it for you.
No, we're going to get our hands dirty.
We are. We are going to perform verbatim readings of the prologue, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. And then we're going to tear them apart line by line.
And believe me, there is a lot to tear apart here. We're looking at a future America that has gone beyond simple isolationism into something almost hermetically sealed.
Yeah, sealed is the right word.
We're looking at a society that's basically run by gamification, where fun has become the only metric of value. And right in the middle of it all, we're going to witness the awakening of a protagonist who's very appropriately named Player 2.
It's a wild ride. We've got energy shields, we've got these janitors who are way more than they seem, and we've got an AI that quotes deep physics paradoxes while trying to get our hero to eat breakfast.
It's a dense and fascinating world.
So buckle up. We're starting right at the very beginning, the spark, the flash. This is the prologue of Naxzyu.
I'll take this one. I think it really sets the philosophical stage for everything that comes after. So here we go. There is a flash at the moment of conception. It occurs when your father's sperm enters your mother's egg, and two separate pairs of 23 chromosomes merge into a paired 46 to create a completely new and unique organism. This flash is the physical moment a brand new multiverse is born, a big bang of personal possibility, one that is all your own, or I should say, yours owns. Each division introduces more chaos, creating different yous. Some are miscarried, some are aborted. The rest become all the possible versions of yourself that can happen from the moment you were conceived. Lysander, Sentient AI.
Okay. Wow, let's unpack this. That first line, there is a flash at the moment of conception. It's so visceral. It immediately grounds us in biology, but the language feels almost theological.
It absolutely does. It's elevating a purely biological process, meiosis, fertilization, stuff we learn in school, to the level of a cosmological event. And the text is explicit. It mentions the 23 chromosomes merging into a paired 46. That's the fundamental recipe of human life. But the narrator, this entity, isn't just looking at it as chemistry. No, they're calling it a big bang of personal possibility.
It completely redefines the individual. So instead of you just being one person on one path, you're this walking multiverse of potential outcomes that all sprang from that one initial moment.
Yes. And that brings us to the phrase that really tripped me up the first time I read it. Had to read it a few times.
Me too. One that is all your own. Or I should say, yours owns. That grammar's so tricky. Yours owns. What does that even mean?
It's a deliberate and, I think, brilliant twist. If the universe is your own, that implies possession, right? You have this life, it belongs to you.
It's simple enough.
But yours owns. That suggests that the possibility of you, the abstract concept of yours, is what possesses the universe. It completely shifts the agency. The potential versions of you are the true owners of this reality.
So it's not that I own my life, it's that the potential for me to exist is what gives reality its owner.
Exactly. It suggests that consciousness, or at least the potential for consciousness, is what dictates the structure of the world. It's a very solipsistic viewpoint. It implies that without an observer, the universe has no owner, and maybe no meaning at all.
And it gets so much darker, like immediately after that. The text says, each division introduces more chaos. And then it just bluntly lists the paths not taken. Some are miscarried, some are aborted.
It's startling, isn't it?
It is. It's treating these really tragic biological ends not as endings, but just as divergent paths in this personal multiverse.
Precisely. It validates every single outcome as a legitimate version of yourself.
Yeah.
So in this worldview, the version of you that didn't survive gestation is just as real, just on a different branch of probability as the you that is listening to us right now.
Every possibility is real somewhere.
It really emphasizes the chaos of it all. Nature isn't orderly here. It's like a scattering of buckshot. Every single cellular division is another roll of the dice, creating another reality.
And then, just when you're grappling with all of that, you get the signature at the bottom, Lysander, Sentient AI, and that just changes everything we just read.
It reframes the entire passage.
Yeah.
It does. Because you have to ask, why is an artificial intelligence narrating the messy, wet biological process of human conception?
Yeah, you usually think of AI in fiction as being obsessed with, code, silicon, logic, order.
But Lysander seems absolutely fascinated by the organic chaos.
It feels like an outsider looking in. I mean, for an AI, 1 + 1 = 2, period. But for humans, it's like 23 + 23 = infinite chaos.
That's a perfect way to put it. To a digital mind, the Big Bang of biology might seem either terrifying or miraculous, precisely because it's so uncontrolled, so unpredictable.
So it sets up a contrast right away.
It does. The organic chaos of this prologue versus what I'm assuming will be, the rigid order of the world we're about to enter. It positions the AI as this keen, maybe even obsessive observer of the very thing it can likely never be: biological, chaotic, and divergent.
Okay, so speaking of that world, let's jump into it. We're going 125 years into the future. The prologue was that philosophical spark, but chapter 1, this is the concrete reality. We're moving to what the text calls the gilded cage. I'm going to read the first half of chapter 1. Happy New Year, dear readers. Happy New Year's from 2153. From wherever, whenever, and however you're from, this is where our story begins, right in the middle. Today is the 125th anniversary of the American First Initiative, and America has never been safer or more prosperous. This is all thanks to the technology created by Doctor Michael Naxzyu in the early 21st century. Solutions were discovered to permanently provide all citizens with universal health care, income, housing, free education, and border security. All diseases and mental illness have been cured, and there's no perceived inequality, hunger, homelessness, or crime. So what happened on January 1st, 2028, you may ask? To keep it simple and move our story to now. That was the day America cut the transatlantic and trans-Pacific data cables, changed to a new and impenetrable internet protocol, banned humanoid robotics, 3D printing, and firearms, permanently evacuating low-lying coastal cities, launched an energy shield around the entire country, capable of standing up to hypersonic nuclear ballistics and energy weapons, finally saying "fuck you" to the rest of the world. 125 years later, no one thinks about life outside America, and would they? They have everything they want and everything they need. They can be Eve, or do anything they want. They are entertained and productive, with little time for thoughts of the past or personal introspection. How was this type of massive social engineering accomplished? It was easy. Games, games, and more games. Generations after generations have been put into intentionally addictive games since the late 1970s. Dr. Naxzyu saw this as an opportunity to bring peace and prosperity it did bring for America. But what about the rest of the world? No one cares. Caring about that kind of shit isn't fun, and if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. Wow. Okay. There is a lot of history packed into those few paragraphs.
A century and a quarter history, yeah.
Let's start with the date. January 1st, 2153. It's the 125th anniversary of the America First Initiative.
And right off the bat, the narrator presents us with this paradox. Listen to that list of achievements again.
It's staggering.
Universal health care, universal income, universal housing, free education, and then no crime, no disease, no mental illness. On paper, this is utopia. I mean, this is the dream of every social reformer in history, all rolled into one.
It sounds absolutely perfect, but it feels so eerie, doesn't it? It feels I don't know, sticky, like there's a huge catch that we just aren't seeing yet.
Feels eerie because we immediately learn the cost. The text pivots right away to January 1st, 2028. That's the turning point, the day they, well, turn off the rest of the world.
Cutting the transatlantic and trans-Pacific cables, I mean, that's not just isolationism, that is a violent act of digital amputation from the planet.
It is. And then you have the bans. Let's talk about the bans.
Yeah, that list is interesting. They banned humanoid robotics, 3D printing, and firearms. Okay, I get banning firearms in a quest for total peace. You can follow that logic.
Sure.
But why ban 3D printing and robotics in a high-tech future? That seems counterintuitive.
It all comes down to control. Absolute control. Think about it. What does 3D printing allow for?
You can make anything you want.
Decentralized manufacturing. If you can print anything, a tool, a weapon, a medical device, you don't need the central authority to provide it for you. It creates independence. It takes power away from the state.
So they banned it to maintain dependence on the system?
Exactly. And humanoid robotics, well, that could be a threat to the labor force, sure, or perhaps in this world, it's a threat to the clarity of what's human and what isn't. They wanted to eliminate every external variable. They wanted a completely closed system where the state is the sole provider of everything.
And then to top it all off, the literal shield, an energy shield around the entire country.
It's not a metaphor.
Not at all. The text explicitly says it's capable of stopping hypersonic nuclear ballistics. And then it uses that very colorful phrase, finally saying, fuck you to the rest of the world.
It is the ultimate, unapologetic expression of isolationism. It's not just we're prioritizing ourselves. It's we are removing ourselves entirely from the planet's shared destiny.
And it mentions they evacuated low-lying coastal cities.
Which is a tiny but huge detail. It implies that climate change happened, or was happening, and instead of working with the world to solve it, their solution was to pull back, build a wall, and let everyone else deal with the consequences. It's a survivalist bunker strategy applied to a continent-sized nation.
And the psychology of the people inside? That line is chilling. No one thinks about life outside America.
Why would they?
They have everything they need to be or do anything they want. But then it adds, they are entertained and productive, with little time for thoughts of the past or personal introspection.
And that is the key right there. That's the fine print on the utopian contract. Little time for introspection. A society that doesn't look inward, that doesn't reflect, doesn't question its reality. They have traded freedom of thought for freedom from want. They are well-fed, they're healthy, they're safe, and they are completely incurious.
It's a golden cage, but because the cage is so large and it's filled with so many shiny toys, they don't even realize they're trapped.
They probably wouldn't even call it a cage. They'd call it winning.
So how did they achieve this massive social engineering project? And the text says it was easy.
Which is terrifying.
Games, games, and more games.
Yes, gamification as the ultimate tool of social control. The text traces it all the way back to the late 1970s, the birth of the video game era. This Dr. Michael Naxzyu, he didn't fight the addiction to screens and games. He leaned into it. He weaponized it.
Or, maybe to be more charitable, he utilized it.
Utilized it, sure. He realized that if you can keep an entire population engaged in a constant loop of dopamine hits, leveling up, winning, achieving, getting rewards, you can direct their collective energy wherever you want it to go. Or, more importantly, away from where you don't want it to go.
Like thinking about the outside world.
Precisely. And the core philosophy is summed up in that final brutal line of the section.
If it's not fun, it's not worth doing.
That sounds like a hedonistic slogan you might see on a t-shirt. But in this context, it's absolutely terrifying. It means empathy is dead. Because empathy, real empathy, is often painful. It's not always fun.
Right. Caring about that kind of shit isn't fun. It suggests a society of sociopaths, but happy, well-adjusted sociopaths.
If the rest of the world is burning or starving or drowning outside that energy shield, the citizens inside 2153 America don't just ignore it. They are philosophically opposed to caring about it because it ruins their gameplay experience of life. They have gamified their own morality out of existence.
It's the ultimate not my problem field projected over an entire nation. But clearly, not everyone is fully asleep at the wheel. We're introduced to a narrator in the second half of Chapter 1. Let's read that part.
At this point, you're probably wondering who I am. That's a great question given the information I just shared with you. My name is Jason Ryan. I'm just an old man with an old name. I walk unnoticed as player one among a sea of Marios, Zeldas, Aloys, virtual gods of war. I have a small room with a bed at the local arcade where I've worked as a janitor for decades. While I'm known to use analog cleaning equipment from time to time, most of my duties are repairing and monitoring the little machines that thoroughly clean and sanitize all gaining surfaces to prevent the spread of communicable diseases. I love my job. It's repetitive, challenging, and I can keep my head down while watching for the right thread to pull. This story isn't mine. It's yours, your ancestors, and your progenies. It's everyone who has lived, is living, and Burner will live a life. Most importantly, this is a story about a curious young person named Player 2 and how they can change the world.
Just an old man with an old name. Jason Ryan.
The contrast here is so stark. He describes the people all around him as Marios, Zeldas, Aloys, virtual gods of war.
Right, they're all avatars. They're all identities borrowed from the games of the past, which are present. They're wearing masks.
They're not real people, they're characters. But Jason Ryan, that sounds like a name for the 20th or early 21st century. It anchors him in the real, in history. He isn't pretending to be a hero from a game, he's just Jason.
And he calls himself Player 1, hiding in plain sight. But his job, of all things, he's a janitor at an arcade.
The janitor archetype is such a powerful literary device. Think about it. The janitor is the invisible worker, the one who cleans up the mess that everyone else leaves behind.
The one nobody pays attention to.
Yeah, in a super high-tech digital society, the person who still deals with the physical waste, the text mentions analog cleaning equipment, is the only one who's truly grounded in reality. Everyone else is living in the cloud, in the game. Jason is literally dealing with the floor.
He also mentions cleaning gaming surfaces to prevent the spread of communicable diseases. So even in this perfect utopia, germs still exist.
Of course they do. But the system probably handles them so efficiently with these little machines that no one else ever notices. But Jason notices. He sees the grime. He sees the reality under the clean surface. And he says he's monitoring.
That is the crucial verb, isn't it? He isn't just cleaning, he is watching. He says, watching for the right thread to pull.
That suggests this whole society is a tapestry or maybe a sweater that looks perfect on the outside but can be completely unraveled if you find that one loose end. Jason is an agent of chaos in a world of absolute order. He's not just a passive observer. He's actively waiting for his moment.
And he explicitly tells us that this isn't his story. He's just setting the stage. He introduces the true protagonist, Player 2.
Which implies a relationship, right? If Jason is Player 1 and our protagonist is Player 2, there has to be a connection. It implies a mentorship.
Or maybe Jason has just been waiting all this time for someone to pick up the second controller.
That's a great analogy. You can't play a co-op game alone. He's the veteran player who's been waiting in the lobby for decades for a novice to finally join the server.
Okay, so let's meet this Player 2. We're moving into Chapter 2 titled Year Zero. This is where we finally get inside the head of a young person who has grown up entirely within this gamified world. Year Zero, Player 2. Great! The good morning song for the 6,542nd day in a row? Ugh, fucking next year. I'm up. Good morning, Player 2. Today is the day for Violence Pro-League qualifications. Why is this thing so happy all the time? I just want to break it, and I don't know what's wrong with me. Everyone loves waking up to Naxzyu, but it makes my stomach hurt. I know what fucking day it is. My entire life is lead to today, and I don't need an AI to remind me. Fuck you, Naxzyu. Be doop. Yeah, I thought so. You are in the 99th percentile of violence players in your age group. Tell me something I don't know. The information inside a black hole is equal to its surface area. What? The information paradox was solved in 2019 by Leonard Susskind and became the foundation of holographic theory. Okay, that's kind of cool, but I'm not going to let Naxzyu know I think that. I just wanted to shut up. I don't need to be reminded of it's time for breakfast. Ugh. This is what I mean. My stomach hurts, Naxzyu. I don't want breakfast. You need a good breakfast or you'll puke in the chamber. Okay, Naxzyu, why does my stomach hurt? Because you haven't had a good breakfast. This fucking thing. Ah, man, I feel this so much. The sheer visceral annoyance of waking up to an aggressively happy alarm clock.
We've all been there. But this isn't just an alarm clock. It's Naxzyu. It's the system itself, personified in this cheery voice.
And we establish the timeline immediately. Day 6942, if you do the math on that, it's about 19 years old.
Right on the cusp of adulthood. Player 2 is at that age where the systems you grew up with, the ones that used to feel comforting, start to feel restrictive, suffocating.
And today is a big day, the Violence Pro-League qualifications. Did you catch the spelling there? V-I-O-L-L-A-N-C-E, violence.
I did. It's a deliberate choice. It creates a distinction.
Yeah.
Violence with an E is actual physical harm, but violence with an A, that sounds like a brand name, a sport, a sanitized, marketable version of conflict.
Like an e-sport.
Exactly. It's likely some kind of combat game, given the context. But it suggests that even the concept of conflict has been commodified and made safe and fun.
And player 2 hates the AI. Just hates it. Everyone loves waking up to Naxzyu, but it makes my stomach hurt.
There's a somatic, physical rejection of this utopia going on here. It's not an intellectual disagreement at this point.
What do you mean by that?
It's the body rebelling against the mind's conditioning. The society says, be happy, be productive, love the system, but the gut, the nervous system, is saying, something is deeply wrong here. Player 2 is physically ill with anxiety, even if they don't have the word for it yet.
The subconscious is screaming while the conscious mind is just trying to conform and get through the day.
Precisely. And then we get this bizarre, absolutely wild interjection. Player 2 snarks, tell me something I don't know, and the AI just drops this heavy physics bomb out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was a needle scratch moment for me.
The information inside a black hole is equal to its surface area. And then it goes on to cite Leonard Susskind, 2019, the information paradox and holographic theory. This is not just random trivia for the morning announcements.
It can't be. Why? Why does the AI share this specific fact? It feels completely out of left field.
Okay, this is where it gets really, really interesting. Let me try to explain the holographic principle simply because it's a wild concept.
Please do.
Imagine you have a can of soup. You can know everything there is to know about the soup inside, the ingredients, the calories, the volume, just by reading the label on the outside two-dimensional surface of the can.
Okay, that makes sense.
Susskind and others theorized that a black hole works in a similar way. The three-dimensional information of everything that falls into it isn't lost. It's preserved or encoded on the two-dimensional surface of its event horizon.
So all the 3D stuff is represented on a 2D surface.
Exactly, which leads to the mind-blowing suggestion that our entire three-dimensional reality might actually be a projection of information that's stored on some distant two-dimensional surface, like a hologram.
Wow. So if the AI is bringing this up, is it breaking the fourth wall? Is it trying to hint to player 2 that their world isn't real, that they're living in a simulation?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Or perhaps it is just random trivia to the AI and non sequitur. But from a narrative standpoint, it's a massive signal to us, the readers, that the nature of reality in this story is very much up for debate.
If the universe is a hologram, then that shield around America.
It might be an event horizon of its own. It completely blurs the line between what is physical and what is digital in this world.
And player 2 just brushes it off as kind of cool, but then immediately gets dragged back into that breakfast argument. And that circular logic drove me crazy reading it.
It's designed to be maddening.
My stomach hurts. You need to eat breakfast. Okay, but why does my stomach hurt? Because you haven't had a good breakfast.
It's a perfect example of gaslighting. Pure and simple. The system, Naxzyu, cannot accept the premise that player 2 is sick. Because remember what we learned in chapter 1.
All diseases and mental illness have been cured.
Right. Therefore, if player 2 feels bad, it must be a user error. It must be player 2's fault. You didn't eat your breakfast. It completely denies the validity of player 2's internal experience because that experience contradicts the stated perfection of the system.
And puke in the chamber is such a gross specific detail, too.
It is. It implies that they play these violence games in some kind of full immersion chambers or pods.
Which connects right back to our janitor, Jason Ryan.
Someone has to clean those chambers. It's a great little detail that reminds us that no matter how digital and clean and perfect the world gets on the surface, the messy biology, the vomit, the stomach aches, the anxiety, that stuff always remains.
Which brings us perfectly to the second half of chapter 2. Player 2 heads to the arcade and sees our friend Jason. But player 2 doesn't call him Jason, he calls him something else.
There's this weird old dude at the arcade, we call him Darmok, because he keeps saying that, followed by gibberish. WTF is Tanagra. Why are the walls always falling? He cleans there will be a cuke out of the chambers, mostly, but also keeps the place running so well that no one notices. Except for me. There he is again, always talking funny. I dig what he means half the time. You ready? Jugador dos? My stomach hurts. That's because you have anxiety. Oh, what's anxiety? What FCF language is this? It was weird on New Year's when he wished me happy 125th anniversary. It pulled at me, so I did some research. America First Initiative. WTF. I think the world is bigger than I thought. Head spinning. I mean, I know we are on a ball spinning in space around a star and there are other countries and continents, but why have I never considered them? What does America First even mean? Am I programmed to be first and look forward like a comet unaware of its tail? You're Shaka. When the walls fell, I think I get it. It means great misfortune. He's speaking in memetics, but why?
Okay, my inner nerd alert is just blaring right now. Darmok, Tanagra, Shaka, when the walls fell.
This is a direct and wonderful reference to one of those famous episodes of Star Trek, The Next Generation, an episode called Darmok.
A fan favorite.
Absolutely. And in that episode, Captain Picard encounters an alien race, the Temerians, who speak entirely in metaphors and references to their own mythology and history. So Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra means cooperation against a common enemy. Shaka, when the walls fell, means failure or misfortune.
But Player 2 has never seen Star Trek. To Player 2, it's just, as they say, gibberish.
Exactly. Jason Ryan is speaking in what the text calls memetics. He is using the cultural archives of the past archives that Player 2 has absolutely no access to.
It's a perfect illustration of the cultural erasure that's happened. This society has banned history, or at the very least, they've buried it under a mountain of games.
So by speaking in these references, Jason is effectively speaking a dead language. He's speaking the language of the pre-shield world.
But Player 2 is observant. That line, except for me. Player 2 notices the janitor that nobody else sees, and then Jason gives Player 2 a diagnosis. He says, that's because you have anxiety.
And look at Player 2's reaction. Okay, what? What's anxiety?
Yeah, anxiety. Can't even parse the word.
Player 2 doesn't even recognize the word anxiety. The concept of mental illness has been cured so thoroughly that the very vocabulary for it has been deleted from the common lexicon.
That is genuinely terrifying. I mean, if you can't name your pain, how can you possibly understand it? You just think you're broken. It feels very fake.
That's a classic Orwellian newspeak. If you remove the word for rebellion, can people still rebel? If you remove the word for anxiety, do you just suffer from a mysterious stomachache for your whole life? By limiting the language, the system limits the range of thought. And Jason, he's just introduced a dangerous new weapon into Player 2's arsenal, a word that accurately describes their reality.
And the crack in the worldview is clearly opening. It started on New Year's when Jason wished Player 2 a happy 125th anniversary. That phrase, it pulled at them, and it triggered something. Player 2 did their own research.
America First Initiative, WTF.
This is the moment of awakening, the crystallization of that feeling in their stomach. I think the world is bigger than I thought.
And it's not that Player 2 didn't know basic facts. They say, I know we are on a ball spinning in space, and there are other countries and continents. They have the data, but then they ask the crucial question, but why have I never considered them?
It's the difference between knowing a fact and feeling its reality, its implications, the conditioning, the games, all of it. It was designed to stop that very curiosity. But now, thanks to this weird old janitor, Player 2 is finally asking questions.
And what a question they ask. Am I programmed to be first and look forward like a comet unaware of its tail?
That is a beautiful and tragic line.
It's incredible. The tail is the past. It's history. It's the rest of the world. The America First Initiative created a society that is all forward momentum, all winning, all progress, with no memory or awareness of what it's leaving behind, what it's built on. A comet without a tail is just a dark rock hurtling through space.
And then in the final line, Player 2 cracks the code. Shaka, when the walls fell. I think I get it. It means great misfortune.
Player 2 is learning the language of the resistance, maybe. By understanding that single metaphor, Player 2 is stepping out of the literal, gamified A+B world of Naxzyu and into the nuanced, metaphorical, historical world of Jason Ryan.
They are connecting.
Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra. The two players are finally meeting on the battlefield.
So to pull back a bit, we've gone from the biological flash of conception, the big bang of the self, to a society that tried to freeze time and progress behind a giant energy shield, and finally down to one young person inside that shield, realizing that it's also a blindfold.
It's a classic trajectory of great dystopian fiction, isn't it? The golden cage looks comfortable and safe until you realize you can't fly, and then all you can think about is the sky.
What really stands out to me, weaving through all of this, is the role of information. Well, the AI, Lysander, starts us off by observing biological information. Then Naxzyu randomly drops this bombshell about information theory and black holes. Jason is communicating with information from the past, from dead media like Star Trek, and Player 2 is now starving for information about the outside world. It's all about who controls the information.
That's a fantastic point, and it connects right back to the prologue. Yours owns. The universe you are able to perceive is the universe you own. For 125 years, these people have owned a very small, very safe, very curated universe. But Player 2 is about to expand that ownership. They're expanding their personal event horizon.
So let's bring this back to us, to the listener. Why should we care about a fictional gamer in the year 2153 dealing with a talking alarm clock?
I mean, because we are already living in version 0.1 of this world, aren't we?
You think so?
Absolutely. We curate our news feeds to block out things that make us uncomfortable. We exist in digital echo chambers. We gamify our fitness, our learning, our dating lives, our jobs. We are, right now, building our own personal energy shields, brick by digital brick. The manuscript Naxzyu just asks a simple question. What happens when we finish building it?
What happens when we actually succeed in blocking out everything that isn't fun?
Right. What's the cost of a perfect, frictionless, fun life?
That is a very sobering thought. We're building the shield, and we might be trapping ourselves inside without even realizing it's happening.
The scary part is we might not have a Jason Ryan hiding in the background speaking in code, waiting to leave the door unlocked for us.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you, our listener, with one final thought to chew on, a little provocative nugget.
Let's hear it.
The AI, Naxzyu, it brought up that the information inside a black hole is equal to its surface area, the holographic principle. So, if 2153 America is a completely sealed environment, an event horizon created by an energy shield, and everything inside it is run by digital games and simulations, is Player 2 actually in the real world at all? Or are they just another hologram? A sophisticated simulation running inside a massive computer. A simulation that only thinks it's a biological person having a genuine awakening. Was the flash of conception in the prologue truly biological, or was it just the moment the program booted up?
Shaka, when the walls fell, indeed.
Yeah.
It forces us to question the nature of our own reality, which is what the best science fiction always does.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Naxzyu. It has been a mind bender.
It really has. Keep looking for those threads to pull.
We'll see you next time.